Welcome to the No Podcast with me, Nikki Spo. Well, hey, hi, welcome. You're listening to my favorite podcast in the history of podcasts, The No with me, Nikki Spo. Okay, just kidding. My podcast is definitely like one of my favorites, and I'm obviously biased about that, but there are several others that make up my top faves. But anyway, I am so grateful that you're here. This week, I'm going to keep things short and sweet. The last two chats that we had were on the heavier side. A couple weeks ago, I talked about how some days are harder than others. And then last week, we heard from Will Beck, who is a survivor from the Columbine High School shooting massacre. It was a heavy and heartbreaking story, but ultimately one that was filled with hope. And I really hope that you get the chance to listen to it. This week, I want to lighten things up a little bit with some encouragement. We are all climbing our own hills right now, wondering where the peak is, when it will show up, asking ourselves if we can make it. And I just want to remind us all that we can make it. And the view, once we get to the top, will be so freaking gorgeous. Here's the thing. Life is made up of rolling hills and mountain ranges and plains, deserts and grasslands and swamps and bodies of water with seasons and storms and clear, beautiful skies. Nothing is permanent, not the struggles and not the successes. A few years ago, I read a book by Seth Godin called The Dip. And it's an entrepreneurial book that covers the idea that successful businesses, and in this particular case, lives, are those that can withstand and stay through the dip. And an important part of the text is that it addresses knowing when to quit and when to stick. Seth proposes the idea that winners quit all the time. They just quit the right stuff at the right time. I love this passage from the book. I'm quoting Seth Godin here. At the beginning, when you first start something, it's fun. Over the next few days and weeks, the rapid learning you experience keeps you going. Whatever your new thing is, it's easy to stay engaged in it. And then the dip happens. The dip is the long slog between starting and mastery. A long slog that is actually a shortcut because it gets you where you want to go faster than any other path. Okay, so today I really want to encourage us to press on through the dip and remind us that adversity can be an ally. I also want to talk about some of the things that I've quit in my life, things that I was actually good at. And a part of me still always felt like a quitter for having quit those things. I'm not going to lie. I felt like a loser at times. I would never find my thing or be genuinely great at anything. I always thought I was just really good, not great, at a lot of things. And I still think that in some ways. And the dip actually covers that idea too, that being well-rounded is actually not the secret to success, but finding and developing areas of exceptionality are. So I have quit pretty significant pursuits in my life. Most notably, I quit my career as a professional dancer. I often joke that I was not the best dancer by any stretch of the imagination, but I actually was pretty good and I had stage presence. I was excellent at feeling the music and connecting to the emotional power of movement. But I went on castings for tours and shows, and I got picked sometimes, but most often I did not. And I had bills to pay, and eventually the dip of that pursuit did not outweigh the potential outcome for me. I also quit fashion school. I had gotten a full ride to the Art Institute for fashion design. I designed women's ready-to-wear, and I was really passionate about swimwear. I had my own fashion shows. So when I got to fashion school, I was really excited and I loved being around other creatives, but something felt off. I felt mediocre, but also at the same time, not interested enough in learning through that dip. I hated everything that had to be done on the computer. I did not like the business side or the superficial side of the industry. Maybe I was better than I thought. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being hard on myself now, but sometimes I see designers actually doing it, women that I know, like today. And I get that sense. I get a little bit of this feeling of longing. And then I say to myself, girl, no, you do not actually want that. It wasn't for me. It was right for me to quit at that time, right? The timing was right for me to quit. I also quit teaching, and I loved teaching. I mean, I disliked a lot of parts of it as well. But as many of you know, I was named Teacher of the Year, and I think I was really good at teaching. And I loved my students, especially my dancers. At some point, it wasn't what I wanted long term. And I remember feeling like such a bum, like someone who hopped from passion to passion, someone who couldn't make up her mind. I cared a lot about what people would think about that. And I thought that because of all my transitions, that people would never take my project seriously. In hindsight, I'm really grateful that I took a stab at those crafts and breathed life into those passions. And I'm grateful that I ultimately quit pursuing them, even if I do keep them in my life in some capacity. So it took a lot of self-reflection and honestly guts to actually start this podcast. So far, I feel like this is on the path to what my greater calling in life is. Now, to be clear, I do not believe I am exceptional at podcasting. I do, however, feel brought alive by it. And I'm willing here, this is important, like I'm willing to endure the dips, the lulls, the slugs, and I'm willing to learn through the dips because I believe that the outcome is worth the work, worth the patience, worth the adversity, worth the persistence, even if I can't fully define what the actual outcome or end game will be. Do I even believe in end games? Probably not. I believe in the journey, but still, I do believe that if I continue down this path, that good things are on the other side. So today, I want to remind you to trust yourself and your intuition. I want you to listen to your insides. I believe that we really do know what feels right within ourselves. I think we overthink things sometimes, but the body doesn't lie to us. We know. We just have to pay attention. Which life mountains you choose to climb, that's your decision to make. So thank you guys for showing up today, for climbing your mountain, for having the willingness, because showing up is half the battle. And here you are checking in and claiming your seat at the table, okay? Obviously, I love storytelling, so don't be afraid to reach out to me and tell me your success stories or the dips you've endured. I truly love connecting with people. Again, the book I referenced in this episode is called The Dip by Seth Godin. It's a great little book. An exceptionally easy read, and if you choose to listen to it, it's a really quick listen too. I hope my message today helped you in some capacity. Let's do this. Let's live. You are listening to The Know with me, Nikki Spo. I am grateful for you, and if you feel called to rate my show and leave a review, it would totally make my day. I mean, you know that the good reviews and the good ratings make my day. All right, you guys, sending you all so much love. Over and out. Thank you so much for listening to The Know. If you loved this episode, go ahead and share it with a friend. Words are so powerful, and someone may need to hear what we covered today. And if you really loved this episode, please take a moment to rate the show and leave a review. Your comments are so important and valued, and they give other listeners insight on what to expect on The Know. You can connect with me personally via Instagram at Nikki Spo and The Know with Nikki Spo. My hope for you today is that you are fearless in looking inward so that you can be your highest, most authentic self and go after the life of your dreams.